Headshot!
Hi, and welcome back to Wounded on Sixes. Today I'll be reviewing some gameplay that I've had with the Tau Empire. I played a lot of Warhammer 40k over this Memorial Holiday weekend. So I kind of wanted to go over changes to my Mont'ka list. I wanted to go over some of the matchups that I had and some of my thoughts on the meta, on the list, how I think that the Tau are going to fare in this new meta, and what have you. So first I'm going to get into the changes. So this is my Mont'ka list that I have been working on for the Atlantic City Open. And for you that have been following the channel and following this list, there are a couple of changes that I want to go over. So firstly, I replaced a Skyray with a Hammerhead gunship. It saves me 10 points. I just really like the accuracy of the Hammerhead. It's just so devastating. So I decided to go with an extra Hammerhead over the Skyray just because of just how darn accurate it is. Plus it saves me points and allows me to bring some extra enhancements there with that. Another small change that I made was both of these Ghost Kills were running Cyclic Ion Rakes and the Twin Fusion. I replaced one with the Twin Burst Cannon just to give it a little bit more small arms fire, considering some of the meta changes that I've been seeing. And another big change here is that we replaced the Crude Carnivores with 2 Piranha. The Piranhas are the same exact cost as the 2 Crude Carnivores, and though I really like the Crude Carnivores and what the Crude Carnivores do, they're not exactly great in Mont'ka, I think, because I really feel like Mont'ka requires you to be using For the Greater Good as much as possible to get those lethal hits, because that's really where the power in the detachment role comes from. And Crude Carnivores or Crude Tox Rampagers do not allow you to For the Greater Good. So it's for that reason that I'm kind of going with the Piranhas. Piranhas are really good because they get a scout move, so you can start them on the line and then hide them behind cover, or you can send them up if you get to go turn 1. They have 2 Seeker missiles each, so it makes them a great Seeker missile alpha target. They're also good for, they're not very tough, so if one gets killed, it's a perfect target for the counterpoint defensive stratagem to give us rerolls to hit against whatever unit destroys them. Other than that, the list is pretty much exactly the same. We have the 2 Breacher Fish, we have the Sunforge and the Fire Knives, we have 2 Stealth Suits, we have the Riptide back there. So this is pretty much the list. And the minor changes. So I'm calling it Mont'ka 3.3 right now at this point. So getting into some of the games that I played a game against Marines, I played a game against Eldar, and I played a game against Orks. Couple of things with the Orks matchup. So I got to play into the Green Tide. And my opponent was not quite playing what's going on in the meta right now, which is 110 to 120 boys. They're running a Pain Boss and a War Boss, so the War Boss becomes a nice little can opener for the unit, and the Pain Boss gives them a 5-up Feel No Pain. So they get a 5-up Invul and then a 5-up Feel No Pain. In the matchup that I had, my Fire Knives was started on the board against the Green Tide. That combination, and my opponent rolled really well. It took the Fire Knife and then some to whittle the unit down, and they were still alive on the objective. So part of the issue I see for my list and for Tau in general against the Green Tide is that it's just so many bodies. They sell out for the Green Tide, so they don't really have much else. It's just a bunch of bodies and a bunch of board control. What I noticed was, although I had things surviving, like they had trouble taking down my tanks and stuff, my list is tailored toward more of the Iron Storm Marines meta and not so much the Hordy Orc meta. So I'm a little concerned when it comes to playing exactly Green Tide, just because of how many bodies that they're able to put on the board and the lack of strength 7 to 5 shooting with decent AP that I have in my list. Especially with that 5-up Feel No Pain. I mean, the missile knives are great because they're 2 damage each, so it's harder for them to save their fails. But if they roll well with the 5-up invul and they get that the whole game on boys, it can be really difficult to take them down. You have to really pay attention to when you're using your breacher fish, because breachers are one of the best ways to clear those boys off. And you need to make sure that they're not being wasted. But there's a lot of boys. 20 orc boy units are going to require you to support your breachers more than you probably would against other units, where you can kind of just send the breachers at an objective and take that objective. Against Green Tide and 20 unit bricks. It's going to be difficult. So it's a little hard to play. My matchup against Marines went really well. This list is really tailored to take down those Marine units. The Hammerheads just put in work against their vehicles. The amount of damage that they can put out with the railgun is just incredible, and how accurate they can be is also pretty good. Eldar as well. The fire knives are just fantastic in that matchup. These fire knives took out an entire unit of Wraithguard in one turn, like they weren't even there. We did use the focus fire stratagem to give them an extra AP, so there was strength 7, -2, 2 damage, but the Wraith's Knights just failed too many and just couldn't handle it. These fire knives, the way that they work with the getting rerolls if the unit's at full strength, or getting rerolls of hit rolls of 1 if they're below full strength, is really good. Plus their hit roll can't be affected, so stealth doesn't matter, smoke keywords don't matter, none of that stuff. Like, they can get through. On average, with the 20 shots that they put out, you're gonna get 15 to 17 shots with the rerolls. It's just they're just really accurate. And honestly, I want to try to fit a way to put the prototype weapon system on this Enforcer, just so that he can, get lethals or sustained, and really just sustained. If I was to play the Retaliation Cadre, that is, which has the prototype weapon system, which is a list that I am building and working on, but that list has a lot of fire knives in it, because I just think they're really good at the Retaliation Cadre. But for now, as is, even in Mont'ka, doing 15 to 17 wounds with this unit is fantastic on average. So yeah, I mean, it was an interesting weekend of games that I had. And like I said, the Orc matchup is going to be difficult. It's going to be something to look out for. I kind of thought about maybe looking into a Cayune style list, but I think I'm going to stick with the Mont'ka for now. I think it's just good enough. I think adding the Piranhas is really going to help with my observation unit count. It's going to help with that, and they're going to give me something to kind of buffer some charges and attacks from those hordy elements like Orks. Feed them a Piranha, maybe turn 2. Don't want to get charged turn 1 with Orks. We don't want to give them the ability to grab that much board control. So that's something you want to look out for with these Piranhas. You don't want to get them too far ahead, but they can be effective against armies that are not good against dealing with T7 vehicles. Like, if you're dealing with an army that has a lot of light infantry or something like that likes to get out onto the objectives early, these things can be a real hassle for them. So that's what they're really good at. And again, we're just trying to do that cadre crush, where we're trying to coax our opponent out with the ghost keels, and now we can even use the Piranhas in that respect, and then drop the crisis suits between them, and then assault them with the breacher fish. Again, this strategy is harder against Green Tide because they're able to fill the board, and the gaps where we can get these guys in can be quite difficult. So that's my health check on the meta right now and on my Mont'ka list. So if you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. We're going to be having more videos come out. I'm going to be having a Death Guard list that I'm going to be running this week for one of our practice games. And I also will be showcasing my friend's Black Templar army that he will be bringing to the Atlantic City Open. So that should be coming out this week as well. So if you haven't, go ahead and like and subscribe, and we will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.